Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering how long does it take to publish a book. Your path to publishing comes down to 3 factors, and understanding them could make the difference between getting your book to publication or walking away without finishing it. By the end of this video, you will learn how your book topic and the publication process could impact your path to publication. And stay tuned until the end of the video for a free resource I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. There are 3 different factors that are going to influence your path to publication. The first is your book topic. The second is the state of your manuscript. And the third is the publishing path that you choose. The topic is potentially going to add so much time and effort and energy into the writing process. When you think about writing a book and you think about writing a book about your experiences, things that you've lived, it's going to be a lot easier than if you have to do a lot of outside research and interview people. It's going to take a lot more time to gather that material instead of just getting it out of your head and onto the page. So topic is a huge element, a huge factor in the path to publication, because the more outside work that you have to do, the longer it's going to take. The second factor is the quality of the manuscript, the quality of the writing. If you have an impeccable manuscript draft, it's going to be a lot easier to move forward through these different gates to publication than if the manuscript needs a lot of work, if you need to revise it. You know, once you have a draft done, it's not enough just to have a draft and then it moves forward to publication. There's a lot of different steps involved in the editing process. The first step in editing is called content editing or developmental editing, and that's really the 30,000-foot view of the manuscript, looking at all of the stories in your draft, whether the story flows, whether the examples all connect. Further editing steps from there are going to focus more granularly on the paragraph and the sentence level with copy editing and with proofreading. So every step is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller in terms of the things that are being picked up. It's kind of like sifting rocks, you know, with a sieve. Like the early steps are going to get, you know, some of the sand out of the way, and you're going to see the big rocks. And then eventually over time, you're going to see smaller and smaller and smaller pebbles to the point where there's nothing left. There's no more sand left. So that's really what the editing process looks like. And if you have a draft that is going to need a lot of work, those early editing steps are really going to be red flag stop signs of we need to go back to the drawing board and fix some things. If you have a really sound manuscript, it's going to make the path forward to publication a lot easier. Another factor is the publishing path that you end up choosing for your book. If you follow a traditional publishing path, which requires a book proposal document and working with a literary agent and a literary agent shopping the project around to a publisher, even if you have a draft that is clean, you're probably looking at a year to 15 months before it's published, maybe 9 months. 9 months might be the shortest window. If you're really looking at a traditional publishing deal and getting your book out to the world, you're looking at 9 months to a year. Easy. That's time. That's a lot of time. And a lot of the authors that I meet with want to move a lot quicker than that. And they say, I want my book out in 3 months, in 6 months. And I say, okay, that means you are going to self-publish. There is no other option because you're not going to get the book traditionally published in time. Self-publishing is the other publishing option. There's also hybrid, which is a blend of the two, but for the sake of brevity, we'll focus on self-publishing and traditional publishing here. Self-publishing is guided by you. The process is guided by you, and the path to publication is a lot simpler. There are out-of-pocket costs that come with working with professionals, with editors, designers, and those sorts of things, but the path forward is a lot easier. And if you're thinking about self-publishing a book, you could really get it out in a couple months, you know, even working with high-quality professionals if you have a draft that's in sound shape. You don't want to cut corners and rush. I've worked with people who have rushed. You're not going to see the benefits of the book if it's not a good book and it's not a clean book, because every little mistake, every little error, every little proofreading is going to raise a flag for the reader. They're going to say, oh, you know, this isn't as sharp or as strong as I wanted it to be. And the more those errors and mistakes and typos pile up, the more it is likely that people are going to put the book down or aside and maybe even leave a bad review on Amazon, which is what you don't want. If you have a rating under 4 on Amazon, Amazon's not likely to promote your book. You want a 4 or above. It speaks to a level of quality for the book. So it really behooves you, it benefits you to take the time to get it right. You know, this book is forever. This book is a forever thing, and you don't want to rush it out just to have a book out there. But at the same time, you know, those different paths to publication are going to bake in different time elements to getting it in the reader's hands. So if speed is something that you are really focused on, self-publishing is the right path. If you want to have a bigger impact and traditionally publish, that's a great option, but it's going to take more time. If you want to learn more about how long does it take to publish a book, you'll definitely want to check out the next video on your screen. It's called How to Write a Book and Get It Published. And in that video, I cover aligning the book with your purpose, using book foundation elements like outlining to set the path forward, and even some of my best tips for making consistent writing progress. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.